I'm Harry A. Manalo, MD student from GEC 1B in our MMW or Mathematics in the Modern World. I'm here in your screen to present about what I have learned in our Mathematics in Modern World. So, I hope you will learn it from this video. Let's start! What is compound interest? Compound interest is when interest is earned not only the initial amount invested but also on any interest. In other words, interest is earned on top of interest and thus compounds. The compound interest formula can be used to calculate the value of such investment after a given amount of time or to calculate things like the doubling time of an investment. Example of finding the future value with the compound interest formula. And the compound interest formula is amount, which is the A, equals P, stands for principal, and quantity 1 plus R stands for interest rate. And when we solve it, it will be formed into decimal. Over N, which is the number of times interest is compounded per unit T. And N times T, T stands for time. And let's proceed in example. Number 1 example is an investment earns 3% compounded monthly. Find the value of an initial investment of $5,000 after 6 years. Solution. To determine what values are given and what values you need to find are the following. Earns 3% compounded monthly, the rate is R equals 0.03. 3% formed into decimal, which is the 0.03, and the number of times compounded each year is N equals 12. And the initial investment of $5,000, the initial amount is the principal, which is the 5,000. And 6 years, P equals 6, which is the time. Let's apply it in the formula. A equals P, which is the principal quantity of 1 plus R, which is the rate, over N, which is the number of interest compounded per unit, T, which is the time, and raised to N times T, which is the time, and substitute the value. And 5,000 quantity of 1 plus 0.03 over 12 raised to 12 times 6, and we simplify it. So first, the 0.03 over 12, the answer is 0.025 plus 1, the answer is 1.0025 raised to 72, the answer is 1.196948, then times it to 5,000, and the answer is 5,984.74, and the final answer is the value after 6 years will be $5,984.74. Important to remember is, first, be careful about rounding within the formula. Second, you should do as much work as possible in your calculator and round until the very end. And lastly, otherwise your answer may be off by a few dollars or pesos in Philippine money. Another example, what is the value of an investment of $3,500 after 2 years if it earns 1.5% compounded quarterly? Solution. As before, we are finding the future value. In this example, we are given the following. Value after 2 years, T equals 2, earns 3% compounded quarterly, which is R equals 0.015, and N equals 4 since compounded quarterly means 4 times a year. Principal is equal to 3,500. Let's apply it in the formula. A equals P, quantity of 1 plus R over N raised to N times T. And substitute the value equals 3,500, quantity of 1 plus 0.015 over 4 raised to 4 times 2. And we solve first the 0.015 over 4, which is 0.00375, and plus 1 equals 1.00375 raised to 8. The answer is 0.030396, and times to 3,500. The answer is 3,606.386, and rounded 3,606.39. And the answer is the value after 2 years will be $3,606.39. Example of finding the rate given other values. Suppose you were given the future value, the time, and the number of compounding periods, but you were asked to calculate the rate earned. This could be used in a situation where you are taking the amount of homes sold for and determining the rate earned. If it's viewed as an investment, consider the following example. And here is the example. Mrs. Madriaga purchased an antique statue for $450. 10 years later, she sold this statue for $750. If the statue is viewed as an investment, what annual rate did she earn? Solution. If we view this as an investment of principal equals $450, then we know that the future value is A is equal $750. This was after E equals 10 years. And finally, if we assume the annual rate, we will use N equals 1 and have this. Let's apply it in the formula. A equals P, quantity of 1 plus R over N raised to N times T. Then, substitute the value. 750 equals 450, quantity of 1 plus R over 1 times 10. This is the same as 750 equals 450, quantity of 1 plus R raised to 10. We are solving for the rate R. We will do this using the following steps. Divide both sides by 450. 750 over 450 equals quantity of 1 plus R raised to 10. And simplify on the left hand side, but we need to be careful about rounding, so we will keep the fraction for now. 5 over 3 equals quantity of 1 plus R raised to 10. Take the left hand side to the 1 over 10 power to clear the power of 10 on the right. And 5 over 3 raised to 1 over 10 equals 1 plus R. Calculate the value on the left and solve for R. And then we got the 1.0524 equals 1 plus 4, and then 1.0.24 minus 1 equals R, and then the answer is 0.0524 equals R. And when we change it to percentage, it will become 5.24%. Therefore, Mrs. Madriaga earned an annual rate of 5.24%. And to summary, the compound interest formula is used when an investment earns interest on the principal and the previously earned interest. Investments like this grow quickly. How quickly depends on the rate and the number of compounding periods. When working with a compound interest formula questions, always make note of what values are known and what values need to be found so that you stay organized with your work. And that's all. And I hope you learn about this video about compound interest, and thank you for watching.